All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to this presentation of Consciousness Ascending. This is another episode of Accelerating Your Journey. Feels like it's been a while. It's actually only been a few days. Um, but yeah, thankful for the opportunity to be of support. We're thankful for each of you that are here, that will be present with your energy, supporting the creation of this interaction. We're thankful for each of you who have and will find this recording, allowing us to be of support as well. This is a live channeling of the non physical collective known as Abraham. And again, we are excited to be of support. Today's topic is the idea of value is an illusion. We feel like this is something that we've spoken on before, but it bears necessity to be repeated and actually repeated over and over again because the idea of value is a significant part of that which weakens the being who is human. The idea of value and its many impacts. This idea is open ended. And because it's open ended, it's not specific to a certain circumstance. The idea of value impacts your creating and your ability to create, or that frequency that which you're creating in every area, from your abundance to your relationships to your ability to be successful in business, to your ability to be successful in your jobs or careers, to how you interact with the world, nature, and other human beings. Your idea of value and where you fall, your position and where you fall in that idea of value affects everything. The idea is the source of your idea of respect and disrespect, and whether what you find as experience in your world is rooted in value, how you see yourself. The idea of abundance, the flow that is permanent and that is constantly in motion, how you interact with that flow at its root, at its core, first and foremost has to do with your value, how you see yourself. And not in relationship to anyone else, not in relationship to your competition because there is none, but in relationship to how you see yourself and where you fall in source. That's where it starts. So, the idea of value is an illusion. You have always been enough. You have to understand that. You have always been enough. So, let's get started. Well, and also, be sure to check the description. If you're here for the first time and you find value, be sure to subscribe. Hey, connect. Connect to the community that is growing worldwide. We support individuals in many, many countries. And you can be the next beautiful addition that we are able to support. That is our excitement. That is our joy to be able to support you in these through these arenas on these platforms. And then hopefully you connect with us in even closer proximity that we might be able to be a consistent support and accelerating the process of your growth and expansion as we are with many right now at this point. Um, if you check the description, you can see how you can connect and join us live through our conscious discussions, which we hold via Zoom, where we actually have live conversations. You can see how you can indulge, delve, delve into delve into a private session where we can go deep into clarifying your intentions at the moment, discovering what resistance that you have, addressing that resistance to a degree within the time frame. And the investment for that is what you are inspired to, based on the value that you believe you receive at the end of the session and not before. There should be no hesitation in connecting with us on that level. And then finally, we have our private community, which is the most magnificent of offerings, one of the most magnificent that you may find, because it is a lifetime joining once you connect, in which you have close contact, in which you are engaged in a community daily, weekly, as much as you are inspired to, that accelerates the process, not to mention the onboarding process, which significantly cuts into the resistance, the conflict that you have inside to the life that you are inspired to live. Period. To the life that you are inspired to live. Not any specific manifestation, but to the life is addressed in the onboarding process. So let's get started. Once again, the idea of value is an illusion. You have always, always, always been enough. Conscious creators, your idea of value, first and foremost, is a human construct. Is a human construct. It's born of the mind of humanity. It is a low vibrational consideration. Because in the idea of value, you have, and you've seen it and you've read about it, you have high value, low value. That lets you know right there that it's a human construct. The idea of competition is a human construct. If you're considering your value, you have to consider whether you have a high value, high self esteem, or low value, low self esteem. When you're considering your value, you are considering yourself against others. How successful am I compared to this? How successful am I in comparison to that? Or this person, or that person? You're gauging that which you have created to the next. When the truth is, each one is on their own individual journey. You're looking at what the idea of success is that has been given to you by humanity, not realizing that the idea of success is different depending on your city, state, country. The idea of success is different. There are still many, you may not believe this, but there are still many who idea of success is being at peace on their farm, growing crops, tending to the animals, not engaged in social media, not engaged in all of your technology potentials, not in a race or in competition with anyone else. That's success to them. Where did the idea of success that you believe in come from? Did it come from inside of you or did it come from outside of you? Was it impressed upon you? All of these things impact your value and how you see yourself. But the very first idea that impacts your idea of value was when you began to believe in separation. Think about it. A child doesn't have any idea about value, high value, low value. Now they may have some characteristics. You're introverted, you're extroverted as you call it. They may have some personality traits. They may have some individual characteristics, but they do not have an idea or sense of value until it is taught to them, until it is pressed upon them. The idea of respect that many of you teach your children. You should be respectful to your elders. You should be respectful to those older than you, rather than teaching them to be aware of those who deserve respect, right? They're taught to blindly be respectful, which means that there is a hierarchy. You're teaching them a hierarchy. Age indicates worthy of respect. Certain positions or jobs indicate worthy of respect. This job is worthy of more respect than this one. You're teaching them class systems, which in turn affect their value position, because if I am not this, then I must be lesser. If I can't achieve this or I can't see how I can do this like this other person is doing it, I must be lesser. to be careful what you're teaching your children. And the implyings that these ideas have, are they really what you want to teach? That are affecting them mentally, that are sowing ideas, establishing states of being, that unless they become aware of the integrative process, how the mind works, how their mental frame is affecting their ability to create, what their vibration, their energy signature means in accordance to their life experience. If they never come in contact with this information, then as a parent, you established and allowed the establishment of these ideas that they will never be free of unless they come in contact, unless their spiritual awareness increases to a level to where they're able to see. But many are operating now off states of being, conditioning that were sown very early on. And many of you are still operating off of conditionings that were sown and implied early on. Even though you're on this path of growth and expansion now, just as Benny is unraveling ideas that he became privy to just last evening, that he's been unconscious of for 50 years. But when you consider the idea of value and you look out into the world and you see how the idea of value is impacting so many, everyone, we feel safe to say, everyone to some degree or another along the spectrum. And then you look to the idea of source and you see, or the idea of source and who you are, your truth in source, which is the goal, for you to be a pure expression of your truth in source now as you walk physically. That's the goal. But when you look and ask your inner being to take you to the truth of you in source, so you can juxtapose that idea to the idea of value as it is portrayed and implied through the mind of humanity, you see that it's not even a consideration. The idea of value is not even a consideration. Because in order to consider having value, you have to consider the idea of not having any value. In order to consider the idea of respect, you have to consider the idea of the absence of respect. And if it has a polar opposite, it is of your plane of existence. It is not of the truth of you in source. So in the truth of you in source, there is no idea of value. Now you can come back and look around, ideally in nature, and notice that the flower doesn't consider value. It is just purely and authentically and uniquely itself. And insects, animals, plants, they are all individually, authentically, uniquely themselves. They do not consider the idea of value. They are themselves 100%. The apple tree is itself 100%. The grain of sand is itself 100%. And that is the goal for you. That should be your goal. The carrot is, who am I? What is the truth of me in source expressed now through this physical body on this plane of existence? Absent the conditioning, absent as we speak here, this idea of value. Who am I fully expressed without the consideration of value? How much freer might I be? How much less fear is implied and activated when I'm not considering value, when I'm not comparing myself to anything or anyone else, when I am fully breathing my inspirations and able to act on them without hesitation, because I'm not comparing or placing myself beside anything outside of me. Any idea that is considered, any idea that is implied, that is not present when you position yourself to experience the truth of you in source is an illusion. It's not true. It's not a truth, which means you can let it go, which means you can exist without it. The necessity of having your cell phone is an illusion. It's not a truth. It hasn't been that many years since there was no cell phone. And yet most can't move without it. It's not a truth. The same as the idea of value. Think about that for a moment. Think about that for a moment. Humanity's belief in illusions, the implying of the necessity of these ideas of technology, and they're not truths. Who are you without the idea of value? In your family circumstances, where does the idea of value or its absence, how does it reveal itself? In your job circumstances, how does the idea of value reveal itself? When you are in that and believing in value and positioning yourself, allowing yourself to be positioned in that hierarchy system. The boss is greater value than me. So I'm accepting the being of lesser value than a thing or a person places you in a vibrational position of lesser or below that thing or person. And if you are believing in being a of lesser value, then that fear-based, fear-rooted energy is why low value experiences are created in those circumstances. I don't feel considered. I feel disrespected. I'm often disrespected. People are disrespectful. I often feel out of control. All of these things are the result of expressing the energy because you accepted the idea that something or someone is of higher value, which means that you are expressing of in lower value, lower energy expression position than that thing or person. And because of the consideration, because of the idea and the implying of that idea and the belief in the structures, this is where that comes from in your family dynamics. Parents being over the children, older siblings being over the children, uncles, aunts being over hierarchy. And then you carry that to job placements, job positions. And then you carry that to stranger interactions. When you look at a person and you feel of lesser value, and we're talking about purely when you're talking about value. We're not talking about, okay, well, you say, okay, well, I don't see anybody as better than me, but on the inside, you're fighting for that position. You're refusing to feel less than. And you're fighting for it with your thoughts and your words and your behaviors, which means that you are believing in the less than, and that's why you're fighting. We are suggesting the idea of letting it go completely, not considering that idea because the truth of you and source doesn't even consider value. Number one, you're all things and all things are you, so there is no comparison. There's nothing to compare yourself to. Number two, in order to be fully authentic and unique as the truth of you in source, expressing your inspirations, that which you are inspired to be, do, and have, doesn't require you to consider or take into account anything outside of you. It doesn't require it. It doesn't require it. To be authentic, to be unique, doesn't require you to consider anything outside of you. Do you understand that? It requires you to be aware of that which you are being inspired, of that which you are inspired to, of that which you are being, the direction you are being moved in. And it requires that you release the resistance, the conflict to being those things so that you can act without hesitation. Because the minute you feel inspired to be, do, and have is the moment that you should act. Because the energies, all things are aligned at that moment for that particular step. But if you hesitate, then the moments pass. Now, the inspiration doesn't go away. It's like, oh, well, they didn't do this, so it's never, ever, ever going to be again. No, when you're inspired to be, do, and have, guess what? It continues to come around. Many of you know that right now. Many of you have inspirations that you have carried for years and have never left. It may be the urge to move somewhere or to visit somewhere or to study a specific subject in a class or course, to learn how to swim or sing or play an instrument. Many of you are carrying inspirations right now that you haven't stepped into, that you haven't allowed to manifest through you, to be breathed through you because you're hesitating, because you're comparing, because there's fear there. There's some type of conflict that's not allowing you to do it, that's causing you to hesitate. But you know you've been carrying it for years. It's been trying to be birthed through you for years. And the belief in the idea of value is often at the core, which is in alignment and connected also to the idea of self esteem, high self esteem, low self esteem. It has the two sides, which means it's an illusion as well. There's no idea or consideration of self esteem in source, which means the truth of you doesn't consider that idea. It's not even an idea, it's not even a thought. There is you, there is your creation, and that's it. And once again, we'll say this: we do not suggest, ask, or any of those things that you believe this. We ask that you go play with it within yourself. We ask that you ask these questions of yourself. We ask that you ask your inner being if you are aware of your ability to do this. Ask your inner being to take you to the truth of you in source and discover for yourself. We never ask you to believe anything. We ask you to take this information and play and practice with it and prove it to yourself. Because now, once you prove it through experience, whether it's inward experience or external experience as a result of your creating or intending, now you log that away as a truth that you have discovered. You stack these understandings on top of each other as you expand in awareness, as you grow stronger in your belief, in your ability to create. This doesn't occur as a result of believing us or anyone else. It occurs as a result of having the experience. And once you have the experience of something, again, whether inwardly or externally, now you can't be shaken from the truth that has revealed itself to you through your own experience. That's what we want, because that can't be considered away. Your own personal experience of this information can't be considered away. Oh, well, that was just coincidence. Oh, well, that just happened. Oh, well, they can do that, but I can't really do that. I don't really understand. You can't do that when you know that you had the experience. Spouse or partner, mother or father, they can't sway you when you know you have had the experience. Don't believe anything. Play and practice with it. See if you can prove it to yourself. That's what we want. Because that equals greater strength for you personally as an individual. That equals you becoming more and more powerful as a creator. That equals higher vibrational considerations and higher vibrational truths being opened up to you as a result of the experiences that you are stacking. That's what we want for you. That's the reason we offer ourselves as support in this manner and through other opportunities to speed up your ability to experience and have these truths through experience revealed to you so that you can get stronger at an accelerated pace. And the closer that you get to us, the more frequent we are able to connect with you, the faster the process goes, the faster you move down the path of your journey, the closer and closer you get to the expressing of the truth of you in source. That's what happens. So we'll take a few moments. If you have questions, if you are have been inspired to greater awareness that you would like to share or you would like discussion around, feel free to throw it in the chat and we will take a few moments to discuss. Use the blues. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Make sure you're connected to the community. Make sure you're connected. And when inspired, be sure to join us for our live conversations and don't hesitate. Don't hesitate. If you're inspired to this degree to be of support, don't hesitate to set a private session. We love to be of support. And again, the investment is what you're inspired to invest after the session is over. There shouldn't be any hesitation for anyone. But thank you very much. Use the Blue says, my higher self has been asking me to keep my energy high at all times. Staying full of light and love can be challenging around other people. Absolutely. Absolutely. But that's the process. This is what makes you stronger. The more and more you play and practice with staying in a high frequency, no matter what's happening around you, that's what makes you stronger. And you begin to see how the brighter your light and the more consistently you're able to hold that light, no matter where you are, where you go, whether it's with close family or strangers, and you see how your consistency affects your environment. Your consistency affects the people that appear in front of you. The more consistent you are, the more you're able to see that they reflect you. They reflect you. Benny discovered last night how ideas that he's been carrying since a child, he first started sports, has been, we'll say hiding in the dark, but you know what we mean, just been unconscious of it, that has been revealing itself since he's been coaching his sons in basketball. They have been revealing themselves through individuals on his team, different individuals expressing the same ideas of fear and self-sabotage that he has been had to address as best he could on different teams, but the same behaviors from different kids were reflections of him that he's been carrying. In this season, He sees it. And after the last game, he addressed it as best he could. And it revealed itself yesterday, but not to the degree that it did before because of the work that he did on the inside. And so he addressed it even more. And he expects that it's either completely gone or severely weakened even more, to not so that it will not be reflected, so that more light in that area and in every other area that this idea has been cast in a shadow has drawn in or completely disappeared. So the more you play and practice with being consistent, and play with being consistent even when you're not in those circumstances. Set your phone every hour and get yourself into a higher vibe. No, not a long meditation, just a few moments. Think of a favorite song. Think of your favorite color. Just look out in nature and find something beautiful. Every hour, lift your spirits, get yourself into a higher vibration, and then continue about your day. That, in that, you are conditioning yourself, conditioning your body, conditioning every particle to a higher vibration. And the more you do it, just like going to the gym, the stronger you will get. To the point where when you get in those sticky situations, you have the strength to maintain that consistency. You have the awareness to maintain that consistency. Because not only have you been playing with the higher frequency, but you've also been seeing the effect of it. You've been seeing how it is reflected back to you through the cashier who was smiling and that you had a great conversation, through the stranger that you met and you had a beautiful exchange, through the trip home and you had all green lights. That was not normal. You found a parking space at the very front of the store, at the very front of the parking lot, often this week. All of these things being a result of the energies that you have been consistently expressing, reflecting back to you in various potential ways. Keep playing at it. Get stronger, get stronger, get stronger inwardly when you don't need it so that it's there when circumstance shows up. And guess what? The more consistent you are at holding the higher frequency, you're already cutting into these circumstances that are of lower vibration because that is no longer who you are. Look for those things as you play and practice with it. Look for those things and be aware when you, if and when you find yourself in circumstance, and fight for higher frequency. Fight for higher vibrational considerations, higher vibrational thought patterns in those circumstances. And sometimes you may not have any words because you're reaching for the higher frequency in those moments, even after you've taken a few hits and you feel yourself going into low vibration, maybe frustration, right? But find yourself in those moments reaching, looking for it. What's the highest version of me right now? What are the highest words to say? Or is it to say nothing? And the more you do that, the stronger you get. That's the game. Don't allow yourself to be frustrated because you didn't do it this time or you wish you had said differently. If you're aware of it, that's increased power. Just being aware of it. Continue to adjust, continue to make the adjustments, continue to reach for, and the stronger you'll get. Thank you for the comment. As an empath, I feel this is use the blues also. As an empath, I feel other people's vibrations. Yes, I allow their vibrations and thoughts to bring me down. No. No, but that's what we were just talking about, right? Right? You feel their vibration, and that's where the acceptance comes in. That's where the allowance comes in. That's what creates the separation for you. And that's just another step in the process. You're striving to be of the highest frequency you can, right? Personal choice, selfish choice. and you see and feel the energy of another that is perfect for them right where they are in their evolution, right? We don't know where you are in your path. If this has been a lifelong journey, a lifelong position that you're in right now, or if you came in this position 5 years ago, 10 years ago, right? Or maybe a previous lifetime, you were that individual. Allow them to be perfect right where they are. Accept them as beautiful right where they are along their journey. And that helps create the separation that allows you to be the brightest light in their presence, which allows what? Potentially for them to tune up to you vibrationally. Right? Being an empath, being one who is sensitive to vibration, being one who is on this path, period, and has made it a priority because they know that they are more than this physical body. Selfishly, you are walking this path, striving to be the highest and best version of yourself, to express the truth of you in source, and what that does for humanity in your life as you meet strangers, people, come in contact with family. The stronger you get in your selfishly choosing to be the brightest light you can imagine, to be the truth of you and source. It's not about your words. It's about your vibrational expression, your personal energy signature that potentially allows those you come in contact with to tune up to you. Maybe not completely, but maybe just by a fraction. And even though you're 1,000 miles away, they catch a glimmer of your energy, and it affects and it lifts them just a little bit, allowing a higher vibrational thought to come in. Well, guess what? Maybe they're a little bit nicer to the cashier, or maybe they go home and they're a little bit in a higher spirits as a parent or a partner. Maybe. But if they do catch your energy, or they are in your presence and it allows them to tune up, and that's excellent on your part. But it's a side benefit. It's a side benefit. This is a selfish journey of you choosing to be the highest version of yourself. Everything else and everyone else that benefits from you being the highest version of yourself is icing on the cake. Catherine, hello, Catherine. We are in a world that has a value scale, and I've noticed I sometimes get caught up in it. I catch myself, but it's challenging. So I like the statement, I'm enough. Absolutely. Absolutely. Catherine, you're familiar with this. We are often in close contact with Catherine. She's a part of the accelerator. And she is familiar with the truth, interacting with the truth of her being in source. And that's all you have to do. When you come in contact with these ideas, are aware that you are engaged in an idea that doesn't feel good, and you're able to say, who am I free of this idea? Who am I? What is the truth of me in source as it relates to this idea? And right at that moment, if you have time to do it, you can see whether that idea is present or not. And if it's not present, it's an illusion. It's something that is born of the mind of humanity, most likely born of low vibration, that is not the real you. And in that moment, you can begin the process of releasing it, cutting it away, separating yourself from it, and then noticing how the releasing of that idea or the severely weakening of that idea affects first your state of being and then next your experience. Things that you used to experience on the with a level of frequency or consistently begin to fall away. Wow, it's been 3 weeks. It's been a month. It's been a couple of months since I've had that type of experience. And it's because you're no longer offering it energetically as an expression, or you're not offering it to the degree that you used to. This is powerful stuff that directly affects your life experience and that which you are creating. It's time for many of you to make this deal a priority. Catherine, thank you for that. Anyone else? Anyone else have a question or comment? Awesome. Awesome. Well, once again, we are excited for each of you who have participated and supported in the creation of this interaction with your energies and with your physical comments. We're thankful for those of you who have found this recording and allowed us to be of support in that manner. Be sure to check the description. Connect with us. If you're inspired, don't hesitate to schedule a private session. Again, there is no upfront investment. The investment is what you feel or what you are inspired to as a result of the value that you receive in the conversation. It's up to you. And then for those of you who are ready to make this a priority, be in close contact and to know that you're on the right path and dramatically cut into any conflict or resistance to you creating the experience in the life that you desire, we suggest you get more information on the Ascension Accelerator. Connect with us to find the the investment opportunities for that. We have done many different things for different people so that they can get started at whatever level they are comfortable with. But if you're ready to make this journey, this path a priority, that is the highest opportunity in which everything you need is there. And there are others there who will support you as well. The community is magnificent. The community is magnificent. Anyway, thank you again. We love you very much. We will be back. Today's Tuesday. We'll be back Thursday and Friday for these live channelings. We will talk to you soon. Okay, hold on a second. Should maintaining the high vibration be a top priority? Absolutely. Absolutely. Let it be a top priority. Make it a top priority without any particular manifestation in mind. Right? So many get caught up trying to manifest. And our suggestion is not to try to manifest, first off, because that's how you get disheartened, because you haven't completely figured out the creative process. You're not comfortable with the pieces, the faculties. You haven't mastered the faculties. So you're trying to create something and you're seeing that it's not creating when we're talking about the things that you say you really, really want. You're creating all the time, right? The good relationships, the good experiences, the not great relationships, the not great experiences, the abundance of wealth or the abundance of lack and scarcity. You're creating all the time. But our suggestion is to begin to play with this stuff without or not for any specific reason. The contents of your mind and your vibration. These are that which is at the core of your being on your plane of existence. When you have the tools, which we offer, especially in the accelerator, you use those tools to cut into the ideas and recreate yourself. Your vibration, everyone can be doing that right now. Again, that should be a priority. It can be a priority that requires nothing but reaching for that which makes you feel good on a consistent basis. And again, understanding that reaching for what makes you feel good consistently, set your phone every hour. Benny still does it. Every hour or so, when the phone goes off, reach for higher. Reach for higher. And understand that you are reconditioning your body. Your body has been conditioned to a certain level of vibration. Every particle. Your protons, neutrons, electrons, they have been conditioned to a certain level of vibration energetically. And that level of vibration has certain thought patterns. There are beliefs, dominant ideas that are born of that level of vibration that you have accepted because of that level of vibration. When you reach for higher with consistency, you begin to cut into all of that stuff because you're no longer offering the frequency from which they were born and in which they live. Addressing your mental framework affects both sides: your mindset, your mental frames, your belief system, and your vibration. Addressing your vibration, your frequency, your energy signature addresses both sides. These are at the core. Again, affecting one affects both. But absolutely, playing with, reaching for a higher frequency, higher vibration should be a priority. And it's something that you can do right now. Begin setting your phone as that reminder to reach for higher. And there is no, again, there's no set way to do it. It's something beautiful, something fun, something exciting that you can bring into your mind that lifts your spirits. It's that simple. It's not complex. It's that simple. But know that you are reconditioning your entire body to that new frequency. Your body, because of the frequency that you're expressing or that you're engaged in, think about it. Your those frequencies, and the frequencies are first, and it started before you were even born. You were being conditioned to levels of frequency through your mother and everything and everyone that she was in contact with, whether she was feeling safe or insecure, whether she was excited and happy or she was always frustrated. You were being conditioned to a level of vibration. And that level of vibration yields the dominant ideas within your mind, your thought patterns, which you consistently think about. These are rooted in your beliefs, those dominant ideas, constantly thinking about beautiful relationships or broken relationships, an abundance of lack and scarcity or abundance of finances. Those thought patterns are rooted in dominant ideas. And those ideas cause your body to release chemicals in relationship to those frequencies and those ideas, all creating a loop that holds you in position. The fear based chemicals over time break down the body, make you susceptible to disease. Beautiful. The chemicals released through the consistent entertaining of beautiful things, amazing things, exciting things, the ideas of gratitude, the chemicals that are released in the body as a result of those type ideas. Well, disease is not in alignment with that. Your body is stronger, able to repel. And it doesn't even really repel because you're not in the frequency of dis-ease. Everything is vibrational first, frequency first. But making the vibration a priority, you begin to affect all of that. Now, does it happen immediately? It can, but don't bank on it. Bank on the fact that you can be consistent. You can be consistent. And what will happen is the more consistent you are over time, your time, as you are being consistent, truths, ideas, thoughts of those higher frequencies will begin to make their way in. And you will know immediately that these are new thoughts. Wow, I've never thought that before. Wow, that thought is powerful. That thought feels good. I've never considered that before. Wow, that flower is, I've seen that flower every day this season, and today it is gorgeous. It is beautiful. I'm connecting with it in a way that I've never connected with it before, and I've seen it for weeks. These types of things are what happen when higher frequency truths, you have cultivated a ground of higher frequency in order for higher frequency truths to make their way into your being. And these are not things that you have to guess at. You know immediately when a higher idea or a higher frequency thought makes its way into your being. But this is the result of playing in higher frequency and being consistent at it. And this is the type of guidance and awareness that our individuals in the accelerator receive. That just walking along the path, you don't know. You may not know what's next, what's right around the corner, whether you're doing the right thing or not. But make reaching for higher vibrational priority, yes, it affects everything. But you want to be consistent as you can be. And when you know that a higher truth has made its way into you, contact us. Send us an email. Excellent questions. Excellent questions. Excellent comments. All right. All right. So we'll move to that conclusion again. No, but thank you again for the interaction. Thank you for the comments, the questions. We've already said everything. Thank you very much. We love you very much, and we will talk to you soon.